and welcome to Down the Alley. This is PMAC.
And Ted T.S. Spirides.
Oh, and Katie.
Is Katie here? Katie is here.
I'm here. Sorry,
Katie,
I was muted.
Katie made it to the party. Ted, I don't know if it's the lighting. I don't know if it's spring break, but do you got some sunburn going on? What's going on over in your world right now? Are you in Mexico?
No. So I actually have my my two desk lights on, but all the other lights are off. So it probably just looks like it's just heavy on my face here, but I'm gonna do
It
something.
looks like you are sunburned. It looks
Yeah,
like you're
here,
in Florida.
let's do
It
this.
looks like I just want to make sure you're applying sunscreen when you need to be. That's all. It's all good. You look great. You actually look fantastic compared to Katie and I look like ghosts compared to you. So
check.
I thought he was gonna say compared to most of the time.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So check this out behind here. Boom.
Oh wow.
36 Lacrosse colors.
Oh
wow.
Dude, this is the most high-tech live stream. It's the most high-tech Minnesota Lacrosse live stream that there is.
Okay, so technology has been improved on Ted's side. I'm still white as it goes. Katie as well. We didn't make our way down to Mexico this spring break season. If you're
I don't
making
think Ted's a big Mexico guy, anyways.
I feel like Ted would be a massive Mexico guy.
No, I don't think he's a big Mexico guy.
All inclusive. Give me some sun. Give me some tacos. What's there not for Ted to love, except for leaving his house?
The heat.
I'm not like a big Mexico beach person, but I will say I've been seeing a lot of people in warm climates I've been seeing a lot of Instagram stories where there's palm trees in the background, so that's definitely not in Minnesota. And I'm like 3 or 4 days in like sunshine and just like 75 or 80-degree weather does sound nice right about now.
Coach Kep, every year right before the season, he has it dialed in, takes his fam down to Mexico. He's in Mexico right now. Happened to miss a few PLAY, coaches meetings and things. Not sure how he timed that one out. So Coach Kep has his Mexico trip this time of year dialed in and timed in extremely well. Missing meetings and won't miss a single practice.
There you go.
It seems like a lot more people are in not just like on break, obviously, but are in specifically Mexico this year than the last couple, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm generalizing.
COVID, probably.
People are
no, I know, but like
anywhere
it seems
warmer
like
than
way
here,
more
especially.
People.
Great timing too. Great time if you're leaving like right now. Great timing. Just skipping a snowstorm.
Yeah. I mean, if you're leaving this weekend though, like if next week's your spring break and you're leaving Saturday or Sunday this weekend, not only is the airport going to be ridiculous, you're going to be fighting a snow situation too. So I don't envy any of that.
I have a stat. This is a stat from my mom.
Is this a made up stat?
From the news. She said that it is reported that this Sunday that the spring breaks are like overlapping. Like people are going to be coming home this Sunday and then people are going to be leaving this Sunday. Is going to be the busiest day at the airport since 2019.
That doesn't sound like fun at all.
No. So and snow. So we can only imagine.
Pre-COVID times.
I think we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
You know who else is back? I think they're all the way back. I don't think they ever left. Old Southern Barbecue. Do they still have their Easter hams ready to go? Yeah, they're going to be slinging these Easter smoked hams next week. Those are going to be slinging. But I just want to give a quick shout out I don't remember if it was Katie or Ted who sent this in our group chat. And I'll let whoever found it, kind
It
of
was
get
me from the source's source.
the source's source. Okay,
Mrs.
so
PMAC's
I'll let
source
yeah.
has
Go ahead.
a source of sorts, a manager. Mrs. PMAC's source has a manager, and they found it and sent it to me, and I pass it along to you. The Mrs. PMAC source's manager. I won't call them an assistant because that would put Mrs. PMAC's source above them, and we all know that Mrs. PMAC's source's manager is above Mrs. PMAC's source.
So to get to what we're shouting, this whole situation, Old Southern Barbecue made some, I don't know, big news. They had some good PR this week. It looked like they got into a magazine of sorts. Katie, please give the deep dive here.
Yeah, I think Edina Magazine kind of did like a spread on the restaurant and kind of the restaurateur. I think it's like, how every community gets kind of their own magazine. Obviously, Edina's is probably way more prestigious than everybody else's, and it's probably a bigger deal to be in the Edina magazine than any other cities, but nice. It's a nice little publication. I've paged through those before. But shout out to them. I think Edina did a spread probably on their restaurant and kind of the big man owners of it, and kind of giving them a little bit of PR, pumping the brand.
No, it looked really cool. Looked like a great write up. And just kind of shouting out the story, shouting out, the big man and the entire team at Old Southern Barbecue. So big shout out to Old Southern Barbecue, our sponsor of Down the Alley, and they're sponsoring us this whole 2024 season, which is starting in what's the day here? How many days? 13?
Like 10 days, maybe
10 days?
we're about
10 days.
10 11 days away.
So shout out to Old Southern Barbecue. Thank you for sponsoring this season, supporting the lacrosse community. And if you want to support them, they are slinging for next weekend. They are slinging those Easter smoke hams.
Yeah, and those, if you're getting one of those, I would get on that quick here in the next couple days. I think you have to get it in by this Sunday, so a week in advance. So I would get on that if you're planning on doing it and making sure that the squad over there has enough time to get your ham in the smoker and get it all prepped.
Love it. Can in this next segment, can I rant? Can I rant about maybe restaurants? Is that allowed?
Sure.
I want to make sure you're not late for the appointment that just came up on our shared calendar of Tennessee basketball.
I'm not late. So okay, that's another rant. It's March Madness.
That was on
here.
Our calendar.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Thank you for maybe I'll find the channel here off to the side. Thank you for that. That's another rant here, and I'll jump into that first, and then I'll rant about restaurants. March Madness. March Madness is here. Like we've said about Old Southern Barbecue, this is a sports month. This is a sports month brought to you by and allows you to be full by Old Southern Barbecue while you're watching all these crazy sports. March Madness. Great time to just fill out a bracket. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch college basketball until now. Today's the start of my basketball watching for the season. I watch starting for the tournament. And I've picked because of multiple reasons, but especially because the city of Nashville, the state of Tennessee, I can get behind. I've ranted on this podcast about the hot chicken there. I happily sweat out paprika out of my veins in this city, Nashville. I am riding Tennessee through this tournament. I have picked them to win. Ted, have you filled out a bracket?
No, I haven't done a bracket in a few years, honestly. Man, it's probably been 5 years or so. I don't watch a lot of basketball either. But yeah, it it's still fun to, like, especially these first 2, like, especially this first weekend of March Madness where there's a lot of games going on. It is fun to just kinda check in with the highlights because there's usually something crazy that happens, and I don't mind watching, like, modified basketball highlights. I don't quite get into the full games, kinda watching from start to finish, but, I did not do a bracket. I kinda wish I did just for fun, but, I saw yours. You're, Rocky Top, also not that's Knoxville, not Nashville. I don't know if that matters to you.
No, no, no. I lump it all together. You know,
You
the
so the
state
state of
and the
Tennessee.
city. Yeah,
Okay, okay, yep, the state of Tennessee.
yeah.
But I can get behind that. I'd love to go to see a football game at in Knoxville at University of Tennessee. It's pretty nuts, I heard.
I'd happily go with you. I would
All right, there we
happily go
go. There we go. Put that on your calendar.
yeah, put it on our calendar. Katie gets the updates. Um, so that was a side rant. So Katie, thank you for bringing that up. I'm riding with Tennessee this tournament. I'm picking them to win the whole thing, and beating Arizona in the finals. So that's kind of who I've picked, for this tournament. However, my rant that I was going to get to, restaurants, and I know if you're a podcast person, I'm sure you hear this rant everywhere. Inflation, restaurants. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to pile on. I'm not trying to pile on this low hanging fruit of restaurant inflation. However, I'm going to. I'm going. There's a specific thing that I was charged for last night that I need to voice. I need to talk about. I need to get off my chest because I'm not sure if I'm okay with this. And I know people. Some restaurants are doing the auto gratuity and whatever. You can rant about that. You can fight about that. Last night I was charged for ice. I had a little, for people that are 21 and over. I had a little cocktail. I ordered a little Maker's Mark with some rocks, and I was charged $2 for rocks. And I could see if I was at a nice, maybe whiskey, maybe at a whiskey bar where they're given, an elite ice, right, or
Like
some
it's
really nice.
shaped like a diamond or something, like or a
Sure,
guitar or something like that. Yeah,
I could see. Okay, all right, fine.
labor
I get it.
intensive.
Maybe you got to charge me $2 for something like that. That's super cool. This was normal ice. This was as regular ice as you could get. We were at the Wilds. Nice place. Nice place. I'm not chirping the place, but I by no means is it a super nice place, right? It's a
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
normal restaurant, right? In this day and age now, they haven't updated the place in a while. Again, not chirping the place. I love the place. Great place. We had some lacrosse meetings there. Post meeting, had a little cocktail, had a little whiskey with some normal ice. I was charged $2 for ice. Am I losing my mind, or is that the new normal?
That well, it might be the new normal. That's ridiculous, honestly. Like, if ice costs that much, and maybe it does, I don't know. I don't know the business. It seems like it probably wouldn't cost a lot, but I could be wrong. Don't you think why wouldn't you just up the drink cost $2 and say it's an $8 cocktail instead of a $6, or a 14
Right.
instead of 12, and then just rope the cost of ice? Because that seems very, it seems like you're asking for controversy if you do
A
that.
little bit. A little bit. And maybe this is what they want. Now they've gotten talked about on the
Yeah, yeah,
podcast.
free, they got
Now you
marketing.
got me
Yeah,
ranting. You got
yeah,
me ranting about charging me for ice. Maybe that's exact. They saw me walk in and they're like, "Oh, we're going to charge this guy for ice
mhm.
because we're going to get some face time." Maybe I am playing into exactly what they wanted, but
Probably.
I don't think that's the case. I don't
Yeah,
think that's the case, but maybe it is.
yeah.
I don't know.
Katie, you're
Katie, you might
muted.
be muted. Katie's not muted. She's trying to contribute to the conversation. We're having a little technical difficulty. We cannot hear you at the moment. I think she hates. I think she hates that. Her budget is getting. We still can't hear her. I think she's complaining about the budget getting broke over me getting charged for ice. I think she agrees. But while we have these technical difficulties, I can't confirm.
Yeah, no, that I don't know. That's a little egregious, I think. Um I don't know. Everything has gone up. I mean, yeah, like,
Everything.
we run a business too. And it's like, I'm sure people question like, well, why did that go up, or why did this go up, or why is that not included anymore? And it's like, it's just down the line. Like everything, like every vendor, every product, everything that we've done or that we use has gone up. And who knows, maybe restaurants get charged $4 per ice and they're just trying to cover some of the cost. I didn't know that it could be an ice shortage, but maybe there is. So I think Katie's back. It looks like she's green now on the mic. So Katie, are you there? Yeah, it says you're like unmuted and everything, but it can't hear you. Is it your headphones that need to come out or whatever? Um, but I think that's a valid rant. I think
Okay.
you're not crazy for being upset about that. I feel like the shock of seeing that on a receipt was
Right.
like probably like a little bit of a gut punch. Like, well, like this is a joke. Like the boys went out back and told the bartender to mess with me.
That's kind of what it seemed like. And I don't even usually half the time look at like,
Yeah.
I'm usually like, hey, take the card. Like, service was great, service was fine,
Oh,
whatever. I'll throw a tip on it. Great.
is Katie back?
Is Katie back?
Can you hear me?
We
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you
Katie's
now.
back.
Oh my god! Wow!
Welcome.
Wow!
We're back.
So many steps that took.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is the only like plausible kind of thought I had was like, okay, guys coming in off the course, they want some ice to fill with maybe their flasks or whatever. But can we just keep that to like a peak seasonal charge? Like, but then charge, you were clearly there, you ate. I think you ate the first round. You had like
I ate
dinner.
before. Yeah, I had a
So
burger.
then, are you going to charge me for ice if I get ice water?
I don't know.
Or pop?
I don't
That's the
know.
question.
Are we going to be
again? Like, guys are coming in. That's probably what they tried to deter. But can we just raise prices elsewhere? And like, it's a nice golf course. Like, you got to kind of expect that, I think. Like, and isn't there a giant commercial ice machine that like spits out 100 cubes a minute?
Yeah. Yeah. This is an interesting conversation that I think, in I'm sure this will stir a few people.
And I
listen.
agree with PMAC. This is not the like auto gratuity or like the Minneapolis healthcare charge,
I'm not
whatever that is. But this is ice. This was a line item. Like it said like cocktail, burger, pepper jack cheese, ice. You showed me your receipt.
I showed you.
I
don't have
like
it on me at the moment.
You should post that.
You ordered something else.
You should post that on the Instagram tomorrow.
It said rocks. It said like rocks. Whatever.
That sounds like very Spirit Airlines of them to do. Like,
yeah.
Like you're in the door.
I wasn't checking a bag.
Yeah, you're in the door. But like, do you want oxygen? Do you want to sit on a chair? Do you want ice with your drink? Then all those are going to be extra. Like, but yeah, no, that's a worthy rant. I think you're very much, you're not being a curmudgeonly old man. Like you are, I will say, like that is a valid thing to be like. And like, is $2 going to move the needle? No, like it's not. It's not about the dollar amount.
Well,
It's
he had
just
a second cocktail, so last night he came home and he goes like, I spent
$4 in ice.
tonight.
I spent $4 on ice.
I think the 10-pound bag at Costco is $3.69.
Yeah. You should go back this weekend and just have a huge sack of ice over your shoulder and just be like, hey, I'm here to drink.
I brought my own time.
But you don't need
I have an ice machine.
We have an ice machine. And we joke every time we go to Costco, we didn't have to buy ice because our old fridge didn't have an ice maker. So like I said, the 10-pound bag at Costco is $3 and some change.
Maker's Mark Old Fashioned, ice not included.
Yeah.
Section 8. That's what the people may. I don't know if the people are here for Section 8 or if they're here for food and drink talk and ice talk.
Ice talk.
Honestly,
we're talking ice this week.
Honestly,
we do love our ice. We did splurge for that ice machine, and it is kind of our pride and joy.
I feel like every episode we rant about or go on a tangent about something ridiculous, and I'll get 6 messages about the rant or the tangent, and nobody says anything about the lacrosse portion. Like whether it's bread or brisket or whatever. It'll be ice this week or whatever.
You never know.
But Section 8, the 8th and final section of the state preview. This section is a lot of our friends from the north that are putting a lot of Delta Sky Miles on the ticket, as you like to say, PMAC. But like I said, last section of the previews, and we got one more episode before it's go time, and it feels just, I don't know, it feels like we just got started, but it also feels like I've been waiting for the start of the season for an eternity. Like you mentioned to me like a month ago, like I'm getting the itch now, like meeting, you start talking with the coaches, you get some coaches gear, you might have to go to a meeting at the school.
I've been in meetings, it seems like every single night. The next week, I'm in a meeting every single night.
Yeah, and so that's when it's like, okay, like we're getting close here, like the meetings are starting, right? But Section 8, obviously we got to dive into them.
Section 8, one thing about Section 8, one thing about coaches starting to kind of fire up the energy, Discord is popping off. The Discord, I took the bait. I took the bait a couple nights ago. I jumped in. I started contributing, started ranting and raving with some people. But Section 8, people, I think Section 8 gets is flack the right word?
Yeah, they get some flack.
Section 8, though, Section 8 might be the section that made us famous. I want to thank and I want to shout out Spud Nation. Spud Nation has been with us since day 2 of this podcast. Spud Nation has been riding with us, and we've been riding with them. Spud Nation is a large part of why this podcast is who they are today.
Yeah, and I'd like to also shout out Elk River Zimmerman Girls program. I don't know if we know the boys program as well, but I know the girls program have listened and emailed us and like engaged with us.
Love that.
So I think they're fans, or at least they're just listeners. Maybe they're not fans, they're just listeners.
Yeah.
Let us not forget about the Monty Magic.
The Monty Magic.
Oh, I don't have the hat. The hat's upstairs.
Yeah,
I got a hat. I wear that. I wear my Monty Magic hat in the winter. Elite Monty Magic. I have worn that this winter. I have worn my Monty Magic hat this winter.
Yeah.
Monty Magic. Let's not forget about them. They're big fans.
There was like a week where Sammy was wearing the Monty Magic lacrosse hat to school every day because it like fits her well, and it's
no way.
And I'm just like, I can't wait to hear like when the teachers see this being like, why are you wearing a Monty Magic? Because like, they're in Lakeville, so they see a lot of Lakeville, Farmington, that type of stuff. Maybe a couple like Apple Valley.
Sammy's a fan. Sammy's a true fan.
Monty
it's a
Magic
comfortable
fan.
hat.
Monty Magic fan. I don't remember if it did. It was just like it was like sitting on
in
the
the
like where the
bin.
hats are, and like she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I like this because it's magic." She was into
Oh, yeah,
that,
stars,
and
yeah.
and then just put it on and was like, "I like this hat." So it's like, okay,
It's a good hat.
it's a good hat. So yeah, Section 8. We get a lot of love from Section 8. So we yeah, I agree with you that it's fun. It's fun engaging with the people that, get the bit and love what we do. And I feel like we
And
get a
that we
lot of
also
that
don't, like,
from
play
Section 8.
against ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't run into these teams too often, if ever. Yeah, on the bit part, some sections, some teams don't get the bit. Section 8, they buy into the bit. They're all in on the brand, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what I love most
Remember
about
the girls
this
love
section.
JP so much? The Elk River
Well, do you
Zimmerman girls
blame
are
them?
always
Do
they
you blame them?
love JP.
I would too. Jeez, Lou, if I could watch JP on the podcast
They
I'd
loved
be,
JP.
yeah,
They were like,
come
"Can
on.
JP come to our game tonight?" They could have
All
cared
right.
less if he took any pictures.
All right, we gotta dive into this section. Section 8, PMAX sources, picks. They got some
Mrs.
good.
PMAX sources.
Sorry, you're correct. Mrs. PMAX sources picks. Section 8. They start off with Elk River, Zimmerman. Don't forget about the Zimmerman. 15-4 last year, not a big deal. They beat STMA in the section championship. They won the state constellation championship last year. They've been to state 3 times, twice post COVID. Like Katie said, or Ted, and or both of them said, big fan of the brand. They engage. We're fans of them. Section 8, Mrs. PMAX Source's #1 pick, Elk River. Don't forget the Zimmerman. What do we think? Do we agree with the source? Are they the favorite of this section?
Well, yeah, I mean that they're back-to-back champs. It looks like they did lose this Adria Kotzian. Is that how you say it? Or Adria Kotzian?
Yeah, and she was
106 points. Holy moly.
like more than just like a good lacrosse player. She was like a huge influence as like a teammate, and I'm pretty sure she was a captain, and like just all around spirit champion, spirit stick gal too. So I think that she's going to be a bigger loss than her points obviously show.
Yeah,
I
but
don't remember, the source mentioned Annika Wozni. I remember that name, but I do not really remember her. But now it sounds like her sister is stepping into a big role.
I'm a fan. I'm a big
yeah,
fan.
The source has a source
with anyone the last
in
name Wozni.
in that part, and apparently she's a menace on the draw circle. 2025 Lillian Osterman will step into some of Kotzian's role, so she's going to kind of make up there. Deep group of athletes like Brummer, Holt, Kusera, ooh, how do we say that? Peterson, and I don't even know how to say that last name.
I'm going to say Forer, and the G is
Or the G is
silent.
silent.
Yeah.
Sounds like they got a lot of goal scorers. Sounds like Brummer is up and coming. 2020, what do we think she has? 5? Can we pull up the roster? And she sounds like she's going to be kind of the gal up there, besides Katie Wozni.
Yeah.
And their goalkeeper comes back.
Yeah, they do get their goalie back. They do get some points back. They do lose the big guns, but they strung together a nice little season last year. Consolation champs. They beat Rosemount, Centennial, Armstrong, Buffalo, St. Michael, Albertville, Chanhassen, and Eastridge last year.
Yeah,
and then
those are some notable wins.
Played 1-goal losses to Andover, Maple Grove, a 3-goal loss to Champlin Park, and then a 10-goal loss to Lakeville South, which happened to a lot of teams. So they
were like
were
20 goals.
I mean, they were like I would say a top 10 team, a top 10 caliber team. I mean, they're beating or running with all the best teams in the state. I am curious to see when you lose a player who has 106 points and 62 ground balls and 59 draw controls. That was a D1 athlete. Someone has to take on that alpha role. So I think that's the big question mark, but it's not like they won't have anybody coming back. Plenty of good players, like you mentioned, Katie. They get their goalie back, which is always nice. If you're going to lose scoring production, it's nice to have someone on the defensive end returning. So I really like this team a lot.
I like them too because they seem really confident, and I feel like they've been dipping their toe a little bit south of what is that road? What's up there? 694?
Yeah.
They've been coming south of 694 a little bit and kind of dipping their toe into some of the big dogs of other areas, and like that's respect. And like we've said before, there's a lot that goes into scheduling and a lot that has to happen to make it all happen. But to come down, or Rosemount going up or down, whatever, playing Chanhassen, playing Eastridge, even playing Maple Grove, playing Lakeville South, and I'm pretty sure in 2022 they kind of had a touch of some of those teams too. And I just think that really goes something we always talk about is strength of schedule. And I think it's just very apparent that they're trying to get in there and they're trying to make a name for themselves.
I will say the so Lakeville South, Chan, Eastridge were in state. So that was, but that being said, Rosemount, Centennial, Armstrong, some of these, I think Armstrong actually might be a conference, but and Maple Grove's conference. So they have some good conference games, but I think despite having the state tournament give them some of those games, they're winning those games. They're playing those teams tough. And I think kind of like PMAX said at the beginning, like Section 8 gets a little bit of flack just because it's kind of so widespread. And like, as we said, we don't see those teams a lot. But they're right. This team right here is right there with everybody else.
Yeah.
This next team, Buffalo. This is another program, another city that has helped make this program famous down the alley. Down at Bison Boulevard, we were a new coaching staff last year, correct? We had them on last year.
Yep.
I remember that. Crandall took that program over. We were super high, on this team last year. I think they had a hot start. If my memory is connecting, they hit some bumps in the road, whatever. Were we a year early on this team? This looked like a team potentially on the young side last year, as they only lose 3 players to graduation from last season. 8-7, they lost in the semifinals to Elk River by 1 goal. They haven't been to state yet. Is 2024 the year for Bison Boulevard on the girls' side to make the state tournament?
I think we weren't a year too early last year. I think they very well could have gone. I mean, that was a 1-goal game in the semis, or in the semis against Elk River Zimmerman. And obviously then they went to a close game with St. Michael Albertville, that if Buffalo had come through in that a 1-goal game, they could have probably beat St. Michael Albertville just the same. So I actually feel like it's going to be, with the loss of Adria from Elk River Zimmerman and kind of the maintenance that the Bison are going to have, I think they're actually going to be fairly close. And I feel like it's going to be a hard decision, at least for me, to pick 1 and 2. The source did mention giving them a bump from the 4 seed, which they got last year, to 2, because they only lose a couple seniors. So I think they're going to be, so yeah, maybe we were a year out, but I think last year they were very much in the race. So this year, I think it really is going to come down to these 2, unless we continue to scroll down a little bit and find more about everyone else. This Ellie Toussaint or Toussaint, sounds like she's kind of their up and coming. Oh no, they lose her 64 points. And then, it sounds like she's got a little sister who will be taking some draw controls, has some points, and then it looks like some good a 2026 goalkeeper, Rory Meyer. And I think they also have a strong 2025 class as well. It looks like. So,
yeah,
neck and neck.
This team, I think was close with a lot of good teams. They have some nice firepower coming back. I would expect them to improve this year. Like you said, 25s and 26s last year were sophomores and freshmen, so they're a year older. I think this team this could be a nice team to buy stock now.
Yeah.
This next team, I think, could potentially be another team to buy stock in now. St. Michael Albertville, 10-6, lost to Elk River Zimmerman, this team that keeps coming up, by 2 goals in the finals. They only lost 4, but 4 very kind of key pieces in the 2023 class. They were the 2 seed last year. The source has them at 3. Is that low?
I don't know. I know nothing about this team, but they beat Moorhead 15-9. So and they only lost to Elk River Zimmerman by like a couple points. Sounds like they're kind of neck and neck with Buffalo. I guess we could calculate the points. I'm not super crazy about losing all the points, but it sounds like from those coming back, a 2027 Piper Peterson at 50 points last year. So what? She's a
freshman now.
Freshman now. She was an 8th grader last year. Sounds like she was a contributor, and they're getting their 2025 goalie Katarina Rice back. Sounds like they're a little bit more widespread, which I think could be a really, really advantageous for them. I only lost 4 2023s, and they were all major contributors. So I think I agree with the source on this, that they would be below, closer to 3 or 4.
St. Michael Albertville, on the boys and the girls, I feel like is the most mysterious team in all
really
of the state.
They're
if you're high on them, they'll drop a game and you'll be like, what just happened there? And then the second that you decide I'm not on the night train anymore, I'm done with them, they'll just rattle off a couple big wins. I don't know if it's an aura up there or if they listen to the show and they're just like, if as soon as we write them off, then there's that extra fire and they go and win or something like that. But it's I feel like I have been wrong about St. Michael Albertville on both sides.
Yeah,
for
we
the
really
5 years we've been doing this
year?
on the boys and the girls. If I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, they're a 4 seed, they're going to be the 1 seed. If I'm like, they're definitely a 1, they'll be a 10 seed. It'll just be, this is a crazy team. I have no other comments about this team.
They're kind of a black hole in a very nice way. A dark horse, is that rather the better?
It's a better probably term for it. Yeah, dark horse.
Horse.
I would agree with Ted. We have not figured out the vibe of STMA. They're very mysterious to DTA Nation. They're very under the radar to DTA Nation. Compared to especially the rest of this section where we got Monty Magic, we got the Spuds, we got Bison Boulevard, and then there's STMA who's right in the middle. And we've not been able to figure them out. I would agree.
Yet both boys and girls were within 2 goals for the girls, and 1 goal for the boys of going to state.
They're right there.
It's a good program.
It's a good program. Boulevard and Monty Magic and the Storm and Sabres than we do about St. Michael. I don't know what St. Michael Albertville is. I think they're the Knights.
They're the Knights.
Think about it.
Do they just have a branding problem or what?
I don't know, but
no,
it's just like
I have
they
sources
could
to
have
their
gone to
hockey
state.
program.
There you go.
I
Okay.
got sources in their hockey program. Well,
But it's
former.
like we could have been talking, they could have been state contenders last year, and we know nothing. So just as a
Well,
testament to really how little we know.
And it's not even that we don't like, I wasn't even saying that I don't know anything. I feel like I look at them, I make a conclusion, and it's whatever conclusion I come to, it's a complete opposite that happens every single year.
Fair.
So, the most
Fair.
mysterious team in the land.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
next team on the sources list, Spod Nation. 8-7 last year, lost to STMA. Like we mentioned here, great social team. We're hoping they're back in full force. Doesn't seem like they lost, a ton to graduation. Looks like they got some young studs coming up in key positions. Is for the right spot, or do we see them climbing up the rankings this season?
Yeah,
They're getting back Sydney. I know Sydney is who I think is Sydney.
yeah.
She's kind of like a good force on the team, not just on the draw or with points. She's kind of a the gal.
Yeah.
But yeah, and what a name, Lake Parr, their 2027 goalkeeper. So she's a freshman now, and that helps.
Yeah, I like this program. I think they're slowly just churning their way through the section. I think 4 is probably a good at least right like based on like where we're going through the sources notes here. I think 4 is fine. They definitely feel middle of the pack to me.
Yeah.
They beat STMA last year. They beat Grand Rapids
Right.
Greenway, who we were pretty high on in Section 7. But against some of the bigger metro schools, they didn't do so well, but they were a young team, and I like that they're getting and playing the Lakevilles. They're playing Minnetonka. They're playing Mounds View. Like they're coming and getting an opportunity to experience that. So like the boys side, the girls side seems to travel well. They're like, hey, Wax Gear will travel, right? They'll just if they want games, and they'll do whatever it takes to get them. I do like what they have coming back. I agree with you, Katie. Sydney Martinson is definitely a steward of the game. And I think she brings a presence to that team, and they got her for 2 more years. And yes,
And
Spud
it looks like
TV
she's
can't
got
wait
some
for
good 2024 counterparts,
yeah.
seniors stepping into the role.
Yeah, and Spud TV is going to be cranked up on the airwaves as soon as the season starts.
This next team, I think I'm higher than 5 on them. St. Cloud, under the radar, 11-4 record, a 1-goal quarterfinal loss to the Spuds. They graduated 22 goal scorer, but bring back virtually everything else. I think this is a team that was completely under the radar to us. I don't remember talking about them last year, but I think this is a team poised and ready to go to make some noise in 2024.
They have a great logo. The St. Cloud Crush logo for boys and girls lacrosse is
that what? Because it's under St. Cloud Tech.
yeah.
So I was wondering who it
it's a
is.
conglomerate of all the St. Cloud
Yeah.
high schools, but they're the St. Cloud Crush, and
The Crush.
I think it used to be the best logo in Minnesota. The Lumberjacks of Cloquet Esco Carlton
Yeah.
have succeeded them, but it's a very close race.
What did it look like? I don't even remember what it looked like.
It's like a C with a hammer, like a big like
Oh,
Thor's
cool.
hammer type thing.
Oh,
I'll
cool.
try to find it.
Just
But I
found it.
agree.
This is a sick logo. Is
Yeah,
this still their logo?
Yeah.
This is they got it. They're sick. That's a cool logo.
Looks like they have a good 2024 key players coming back, and it looks like some young two goaltenders. Again, the north of the cities, I guess central and north. Wasn't that the thing in like Duluth and Grand Rapids Greenway? They all had like multiple young goalies that got time. Phoenix Novotny is the 2026 goalie, and Cecilia Meemkin, another one of their goalies. I don't know how much time they split, but at least we know they're solid in the net for a couple of years if they continue to come out. But I definitely think so. PMAC, you think they're higher than 5?
I think I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
I think I'm gonna have them higher than 5. I don't know who they're gonna jump because I do like the 4 teams ahead of them. But my gut when I see that they
or Moorhead by a goal.
Right, they only lost by 1 goal and they didn't quote unquote graduate anybody. So I don't know. I just have a feeling. I just got a gut feeling when I was looking at this that St. Cloud's going to be higher than a 5 for me.
Should we do like a best logo in the state bracket, March Madness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this logo might win. This St. Cloud
It's cool.
logo.
It's cool.
Yes, we should do the bracket for logos. Team number 6. I think this is kind of like the cutoff, right? Where teams that could, for me at least, make some noise in this section, potentially win it. Monty Magic. We've already ranted and raved about them. Big GTA kind of nation. Fans and they contribute and they're getting involved. Lost to Buffalo, right? In the quarterfinals in a tough one, but they've been in the mix in this section. A couple years ago, they were the 2 seed. Had a tough start in 2023. Had a great finish. Monty Magic, I think they're back. I think they're making their way back.
If we're talking about teams that might be underpriced right now, Monticello is a team that I think if you're looking for a team to cheer for and you don't want to be someone that just is going for the top, right? You want to find someone in the middle that you can really rise with. Monticello Magic, they started the season 0-5 last year, finished 7-2 the rest of the season to end 7-7. So that's a nice turnaround there. They get a lot of players back.
I was just going to say that. They get like the whole squad back.
They get a lot of their points back. This Addison Kiphuth, 47 points in only 11 games. Piper Perrin, 44 points. They get their goalie back. Bryn Dahlheimer, 56% save percentage. I think the pieces are in place here for them to have a really nice 2024.
And like upperclassmen.
Yeah.
That they're going to maybe come back and be confident running the show.
Yeah, I'm going to look at their schedule quick here just to see.
As you look, Kentucky, what? Am I reading this right? They get upset in the first round here?
I didn't see that. I saw BYU lost, but that was it. That was earlier today.
I picked that upset on my bracket. I had BYU losing. Cannot pick them. Fade BYU every year. Yeah, can't be rooting for BYU. But yeah, looks like Kentucky.
To who? The Oakland, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Grizzlies or whatever.
Yeah.
Golden Grizzlies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a fan of the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, aren't you?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say
isn't
I'm a fan
that
of them.
Isn't that what you're wearing there? Is that shirt? It's an Oakland Golden Grizzlies shirt, isn't it? Oh, no. That's a Detroit Mercy shirt.
Detroit.
Hey, respect. We run a passing drill called Oakland now that came from the Oakland Golden Grizzlies basketball program.
Not a big deal.
So if you've run that drill, you've run a drill of a first round upset basketball program, March Madness basketball program.
And Tennessee, Katie, in case you're wondering, Tennessee's looking good. I have them up on my TV here. They're looking good early. I love my pick. I love my selection and them going all the way. Tennessee is looking great. Ted, were you looking something up? Or did I just?
I no. I just was looking at the because you said did Kentucky lose, and I saw that they lost to Golden Grizzlies of Oakland, Michigan, not Oakland, California.
On to the boys.
We have to make picks.
Oh, we got to make picks.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
we got to make picks. Katie, you first.
Starting with number 4.
Sure.
I'm going to go. I kind of want to put St. Cloud in it just because their logo. But I think I'm going to go Moorhead, STMA. I think Elk River Zimmerman, and then Buffalo. I think Buffalo will have this is their year.
I'm thinking. I'm looking at one more thing here.
While you're thinking, I'll just shout out Brainerd. They were 7-8. They lost in the quarterfinal to STMA. They lose their number one scorer and their number one goalie. Big Lake also in the section. They lose their number 2 scorer. Their number 1 is a 2024, so she's back. A lot of action from the 2, but one of them graduated. Their goalie's a 2024, so might be kind of the last little bit for Big Lake until they can kind of get some more gals in. Becker is kind of probably right after them. Shout out to Ricori. And then, Sartell Sauk Rapids have their own team too. We have no roster, but it sounds like their schedule's up, and we just love to see a lot of those Central Minnesota teams filling a schedule, getting out there and playing, having their own teams, like separating from co-ops, so that means just more kids are playing and they're feeling funded. But anyways, wanted to give them some shout outs to finish out Section 8. PMAC, your picks.
I'm buying low on some of these teams, like Ted said. I am back on the Monty Magic train this year at 4. I think they're marching their way back. They had a great finish to the regular season last year, so I think they're going to carry that momentum into 2024. St. Cloud at 3. Like I said, I don't think they're a 5. They didn't lose anything. I think they're going to continue to build. I think they're a 3 this year. Spuds at 2. Spud Nation. What else can I ask for? What else can I say? We are a fan of the Spuds, and Bison Boulevard at 1. I think we were a year early. I think that was the only thing. I think that was the only thing last year. I think we were a year early. I think if I had to pick somebody today, I think Bison's going to win it. But I think any of these 4 teams could win it. There might even be 5 or 6 teams that could win it. These are my 4. Bison's my 1. Bison Boulevard. I'm back. The source was saying I'm out. On the girls side of things, I am back on the Bison Boulevard. I am the owner of the Bison Boulevard on the boys' side. I own the whole boulevard. On the girls' side, I'm rooting on.
I'm also gonna go Monty Magic at 4.
Oh yeah.
St. Michael Albertville at 3. Buffalo at 2, and the Queens of Section 8, the Elk River Zimmerman Elks. You got to take the title from the champs. It's easier said than done. Elk River Zimmerman, number 1.
And over to the boys, I just want to shout out our sponsor again, Old Southern Barbecue. They're our sponsor all year, all season. This 2024 season, Old Southern Barbecue. Make sure to grab your smoked hams for Easter. And if you're watching Tennessee go on a run here, if you're riding with me in Tennessee, if you're gonna watch them as they go on this run, order some Old Southern Barbecue, maybe some pulled pork and mac and cheese. That's what I'd like.
Is
That
this
sounds so good right now.
is this a is second round of March Madness a good go to Old Southern Barbecue takeout
I think it
excuse?
is. I think it is.
Yeah.
Like, because there's gonna be some games this weekend. Like,
It's like a
it's gonna
snowstorm
be
potentially
it's gonna
too.
be a
Yeah.
snowstorm.
It's
Like, are you
snowing
gonna
right
really
now.
want to cook? You're not gonna be grilling. You're not gonna be outside.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
your grill's covered with snow. You've been working the grill. No, you're hunkered down. Your wife doesn't want to cook. You don't want to cook. You're just gonna run to Old Southern Barbecue, pick up a bunch of food, and you're gonna bring it home, and you're gonna throw a basketball game on.
And there's
That's
gonna
your
be
weekend.
I could really
Maybe
go.
a little
I could really
lacrosse
go
too,
for some
bunch
corn
of lacrosse.
muffins.
and
bunch
a
of
bunch of
lacrosse.
lacrosse. That's your weekend. Like, don't fight it. Like, that's what the weekend is presenting you. Don't fight it.
Yeah.
Section 8, boys lacrosse, Spud Nation. We've talked about them already. The Spuds made us famous. The Spuds made us famous a few years ago when we called for the upset, and they delivered. They've been with us. They've been a part of DTA Nation. They've come on the pod. We've been rooting them on. They've been fighting their way season after season. They've been going to state. Ted, I don't even know if I have your list in front of me. They've got to be your favorite. Where I got to pull up your notes here, but they've got to be the number one preseason. Yeah,
the infamous quote from Goltz getting the random pick of Benilde for 3 or 4 years in a row.
I don't even want to dive into that. We could. I don't even want to because I want good vibes the rest of the season. It does. I confirmed Moorhead's your number one pick. Section 8, Moorhead. They've been the wagon of the
What
section.
a record!
They 17-2, not a big deal.
Look at their
Ted,
two
what do you got?
Well, okay. So this isn't my picks necessarily. This is my notes. I just list them based on seeds last year. So that being said, Moorhead still is my favorite as far as this section goes.
Hold the front door. Sorry to cut you off. They were 17-2 last year, and their only losses were to Benilde.
Yeah. So I was going to bring that up. They beat Shakopee, they beat Minnetonka, they beat Hill Murray, then they had STMA in sections that they beat Matamidi at state and Chisago Lakes. They were the consolation champions. And their only 2 losses were to Benilde, regular season and state, first round of state. So,
that's loaded. I feel like this is a loaded,
a really good program,
point.
a really good program that they have built in a very short time. Their first season was 2019. So they've only been around for a few years. Their coaches are great guys. They've done a great job up there. I love that they've committed to coming down and playing teams and getting good out of conference games on their schedule. I applaud teams like Shakopee last year that go up and play them. That's not an easy trip to make and a team to play on the road. So I applaud teams that are going up there. I saw today somebody's going up there that I like the matchup. I think it was Egan is going up there. I thought I saw that. I'm going to double check as I'm talking. But I like everything they have going on up there. But there is a caveat to this. They lost a good chunk, a really good 2023 class last year. I don't think it's like they don't have anybody coming back, but they lost Caleb Alderson, 64 points. Oliver Judd was kind of their, we call him 3-way midi. He used 51 points, played defensive end on the defensive end, and he also was 58% on faceoffs. They lost their starting goalie, Colin Baumgartner, 58% save percentage. They lost 3 of their 4 starting poles. So they have some really good players that they're going to have to replace with new players. Maybe they have 100 guys ready to go. I don't know. I don't know what their JV team looks like, but it doesn't surprise me that they've had a nice 3-year run here with that group of 2023s.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's in their JV. One thing to note, as you can see by their schedule, their varsity team has been, logging the Sky Miles. Their youth program has been logging the Sky Miles. Their youth program comes down to the cities and plays in the Prior Lake tournament. Their youth team comes down to the cities and gets games in. So,
I got some good stuff for you here.
go ahead.
Oh, so this is a testament to a team that, you know how they say like earn respect or be so good they can't ignore you. 2 years ago, even last year, if Moorhead would have asked some of these teams to come up and play, they would have said no. This year, so they're going to play at Woodbury, so they're going to come down and play Woodbury. That's a good, solid matchup early in the year. They have Egan coming to them. They have Benilde St. Margaret's coming to them. That right there, to me, is the ultimate respect right there. A team that has really no incentive to travel to play you is like, yep, we'll come up and play you. You know, a team that's been a perennial power for the last 5 seasons. So, I like it. They got Elk River Zimmerman on their schedule. They got St. Michael Albertville. They're playing Trimac at Trimac when Trimac was pretty good last year. So, I expect them to be battle tested come sections.
I would agree. I would agree. Maybe with some of this graduation, they struggle early. I agree with you. They'll grow through that. They'll battle through that. Come sections, they'll be ready to go.
And
it seems like their returning players have quite a few points.
Yeah, so they returned Jace Blythe. He's I think he's one of the more under the radar middies in the state. Just a unbelievable athlete. He's like a 6'3", 6'4" kid. Really big, physical player, 66 points last year. Joel Egerdahl had 38 points last year. This Carter Midthune is a nice 2025. I think he's going to get an increased role this year. And then they get one of their starting D-back. He's a 26. So they can solve the goalie thing. I think they still have a lot to work with here.
Yeah.
This next team, we've talked a lot about them already, especially on the girls' side. We mentioned them already on the boys' side. STMA, a team, a program, a city, a community we seem to can't figure out. We don't know what the vibe is. 8-8 last year. They had some nice wins. They had some weird losses. 500. They didn't graduate a ton. Are they back? Are they going to make a run? Are we going to be completely off? Whichever way we guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they weren't like I said, they're the most mysterious team. I think one advantage that St. Michael Albertville has is that they play in the Lake Conference. So they play a pretty tough regular season schedule by default, despite being in more of an outer state section. Last year, they had a 1-goal loss to Wayzata earlier in the year. So that was like, okay, are they back? Are they good? We don't know. Then they dropped a game to Edina. They dropped a game to Buffalo. They dropped 3 in a row to Moorhead, EP, Rochester, Mayo. So we're like, come mid-May, we're kind of like, Moorhead's going to run through this section. And then they go and beat undefeated Chisago Lakes. They beat Hill Murray. And then they beat Elk River Zimmerman, who who was having a pretty good year last year in the section semis, and then played an electrifying section final game against Moorhead overtime. I thought maybe, just maybe, St. Michael Albertville was going to shock the world. But the Spud magic, as we like to say, prevailed. It was a great game. I was watching the live stream. So they're right there. They get their leading scorer back. They get their goalie back. This is the most mysterious team in the state. I don't know what to tell you because all the notes here tell me I should be buying STMA. And they're going to fool me. And then I'm going to not like them. And then they're going to win 10 games in a row.
Fair enough. We don't have to rank them yet. Next team, Elk River. Don't forget the Zimmerman, 8-7 last year. A couple of very, very, very close losses to some interesting matchups. Graduate, what looks to be a ton, is Elk River back? Was that a missed opportunity? Was last year kind of their year, or do they have a whole nother thing coming?
They're losing a lot.
Yeah,
they're losing like a whole team.
So people that can't see the notes here, I start with the team and the record, and then we go key wins, key losses, players lost, players returning. So that's the order that I go through looking at this stuff. So I'm like, okay, there's not a ton of key wins, but okay, let's look at key losses. And it's like 3-goal loss to Maple Grove, 1-goal loss to Moorhead, 2-goal loss to Centennial, 5-goal loss to Armstrong. I'm like, this team is right there. And if they return a lot of guys, they're going to be all the way. They're all the way back. They're 100 full speed ahead. And then I look at their roster, and it was like 23, 23, 23, 23. So they lose a lot of points. Their top 3 scorers, they lost nearly their entire starting defense, including their goalie. They get Owen Pfeiffer back, 18 points. They get Jack Rissy back, 15 points. And Gavin Anderson's pretty solid LSM that plays for them too. So he's going to be an impact player, but they're
2026s. So that's big shoes to fill.
There's a lot of production that you got to solve with the graduation for this team personally.
Next team on the list, St. Cloud. Was this the most under the radar city in terms of lacrosse last year? I don't remember saying the words St. Cloud. 11-4. They had some close losses in the mix here on their losses. Don't graduate a ton. Is this? Are we bullish? St. Cloud.
So I will say this. 2 things. I think they're going to be good this year. I think they'll be a solid team. They get their starting goalie back, and then Connor Herons and Connor Wavrin are both really solid offensive players. They did not lose a lot. As far as I know, they didn't put grad years on the LAC sub stuff. So I looked up a few kids, but I just didn't want to go and like Google search every single player and figure out what grad year they were. So they could be losing more. Their schedule is not the toughest, but they play who they play. And, I think like they do kind of dominate through their schedule. But they do have Moorhead on May 7th. They have St. Thomas Academy on May 16th. So a couple, I would say, higher end games for them to kind of see where they're at before getting into sections, which I like. So I appreciate that. And like I said, they got a couple of their top scorers back and their goalie. So I think there's there's players to build around. And I think they should be pretty dominant in their conference. And who knows, I think there's a chance for them to be successful in this section. You're muted, PMAC.
Thank you. Sorry about that. A couple other programs to round out this section to keep an eye on. Sartell Sauk Rapids. What's their brand?
Storm and Sabres.
The Storm and Sabres. 8-6 last year. They're always in the mix. We're big fans on DTA of the brand overall. And then Monticello, 7-8. However, new coaching staff. I think that's the biggest thing to note this offseason. That is the biggest thing that caught my attention on this program. Monticello.
And correct me if I'm wrong. It's both of the old Buffalo coaches are now at Monticello. Okay,
you are not wrong.
That's very interesting.
They were on the pod.
Yeah,
right?
They've been on the pod.
Yeah, Justin was on the pod. Chad, I believe, is the head coach, right? Chad.
You're correct.
Yep. So obviously, I think the coaches kind of live out there, so that might be a closer closer commute than maybe Buffalo was for them. But yeah, new staff, it's not the end all be all, but it is a fresh start. And I mean, I don't know, they were 7-8 last year. There's something to work with.
Katie, ladies first, what are your rankings with that information?
I'm just collecting my thoughts right now. I'm gonna go, because you guys did it on the girl side. I'm gonna go Monticello, Elk River Zimmerman, Moorhead, STMA.
Ted, who do you got?
Oh, whoops. Sorry, one sec. All right. I am going to go. Oh, boy.
This is hard.
Elk River Zimmerman 4. I'm going to go St. Cloud 3. STMA 2.
Wow.
And Moorhead 1. Same reasoning from the girls' side. The champs back to back to back. I think it's their title to lose at this point. Just from pure, just aura of ownership of the section for the last 3 years.
Yeah, we're all kind of similar, but slightly different. At 4, I got St. Cloud. I am not ignoring St. Cloud this year. I am not ignoring. You're going to hear me say St. Cloud. I love the logo. I love their record last year. I love the lack of graduation on both the boys and girls. I'm here for St. Cloud. I love going up there to our friend's family cabin. I am here for St. Cloud. I'm a fan of the brand. It might be. It's my new.
Their cabin is technically in Cold Spring, so you would
don't
Corey.
nitpick. Don't nitpick. Don't nitpick. St. Cloud area, Monticello, the Magic. There's a lot of Bison Boulevard energy. The original Bison Boulevard energy that made us famous, that made me look good on this podcast. They've moved. They've moved to Monticello. They're in the Magic program where I already have a hat. They don't even need to send me one because I already got one. Monticello, they're my 3. Spuds. I don't think they were expecting me to say their names yet. Spuds are at 2. Graduated a lot. You had a hell of a run. I just don't know if you can do it because we got this mystery team. We got this mystery town. We got this mystery community, St. Michael Albertville. You just shit-canned my buddy who's a hockey coach there, so I'm all in on you. St. Michael Albertville, let's ride.
The ghosts of outlet malls past are...
They're literally a Bermuda Triangle of the Lacrosse North.
Yep.
We're going to disappear. PMAC and I are going to just disappear mysteriously like Kate Middleton. And literally no one's going to know because St. Michael Albertville, for them to go, we have to be gone. They got to keep their little mystery.
We're going to do a live DTA show from the Ann Taylor outlet at the Albertville Mall.
Not the Polo Ralph Lauren one?
Yeah, no, yeah. The Nike factory store.
Yeah.
So,
and
STMA,
ever say Albertville St. Michael.
I did not expect you both to not have the Spuds at 1. That's
really,
yeah.
I say I watched their game. I don't remember what game it was. It must have been the consolation because it was before you, and they were good. They were good.
Yeah, they're a good team.
But
Section
I don't know.
8,
I think this is
some
the
fireworks
year.
in Section 8.
I know.
I've been down.
DTA Nation has Section 8 bias.
STMA has not gotten the DTA love that they deserve. I'm giving them their chance.
They also haven't given us any love. We know nothing about them.
I am opening up DTA Nation to them. They can embrace us. I'm going to embrace them as long as they play and make me look good. So let's go STMA. Let's go Knights. Let's ride.
Yeah.
I love it.
Knights country, let's ride. I think that's it for all the sections. I honestly don't even remember section 1, 2, 3, 4. Feels like an eternity ago. Anything any news or updates or anything coming down the pipeline that people should know about? Well,
Good
we
luck.
know that.
Good luck about this snowstorm.
So order your hams.
Yeah, get your hams. Maybe get some barbecue for March Madness / college lacrosse this weekend. Don't leave the house.
I'm doing a no meat situation for Lent, but I can still have like beans and coleslaw
There you go.
and corn muffins. So all that sounds so good right now.
You can have corn muffins in Greek Orthodox Lent.
Yeah.
There's no
pasta.
way that
you can have like spaghetti and not meat sauce, spaghetti and red sauce is every day if you want it, and crumbled cookies.
You can have Old Southern barbecue muffin tops.
Oh yeah.
How didn't Jesus say you need to, take a break from these?
Because the rules were written in year 108 and never changed. So a corn muffin top was not even invented yet. So he has no opinion on the matter.
I guess a PSA to, if anybody's still listening, the Lax Hub schedule is up now, the master schedule. So if you're interested in looking at some potential games that you want to check out, or, who's playing who and what and where, that is all input. So that's kind of cool.
I actually do want to talk about this. Schedule's up, and we are putting together our content specialists scheduled together, and we haven't sent it to them yet, but we're going to get these new content specialists out to some games. They're going to be reaching out to some of the head coaches around the state. If you want them at maybe one of your big games, maybe it's a rivalry game, maybe it's a specialty night where you're doing a youth night or whatever, let us know. We can try to get one of our content specialists on one of your sidelines, on the sideline, getting sideline content, getting the highlights and the pictures going. We're starting to organize their schedules now. Each of these individuals are either students or former students who are passionate about kind of the content capturing industry, photography, videography, all that kind of stuff that is not my personal specialty. But each of these individuals, they're all in on it. They do a very good job. They're passionate about it. They're newer to the industry, so they're trying to gain that. They're trying to gain that experience and build, build out their kind of portfolio, if you will, and gain that experience. So we've got about 4 individuals around the state that are joining the DTA team this spring and want to come out to your games, come out to some of the big matchups or big events or specialty nights. So we're working on putting those schedules together for them. So they'll be reaching out to you. If there's a game that you want us to send them to, let us know at downthealleypod@gmail.com.
Down the alley podcast at gmail.com.
Podcast@gmail.com.
There you go. Yeah, though that wraps up all the sections. Next week will be sort of a statewide season preview episode. I don't know if what we have in store for that yet, but it'll be some fireworks heading into the season, and we look forward to finally being able to talk about games and matchups and what's actually happening. No more speculation. It will be real results. And we're getting excited for the season. So we will catch you